Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel called Zuzanareacts, where I learn all things Bahara with your help, and I just share my Slovak Central European point of view. In today's video we are going to look into Modi's visit to Russia just hours after Russia bombed Ukraine's hospital with children, and I would be super curious to know about your opinion on that, especially in the context of the kind of you liking Russia since 1971 because of the support that they provided to you, but I would love to understand what you guys actually really think about that. So we're going to review a clip on Modi's trips to Putin, what has happened there. I have no idea and actually really wanted to see that for myself, so we're going to do this together. But before we do,
please like this video and click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you so much for your support.
Okay, I say let's get into it and let's see what actually has happened. So actually, I'll just pause here for a second before we even get into it. I couldn't find. I wish I really wanted to watch that whole interview, but I don't see it anywhere like subtitled or translated. So if you do have that, please like pop it for me in the comments. Thank you.
The last 24 hours have been quite eventful. Prime Minister Modi and President Putin have met twice, first for dinner on Monday and then today for the annual India-Russia summit. They reviewed the entire spectrum of the bilateral relationship, from the war in Ukraine to defense, trade and energy. All of it was discussed. They resolved some pressing issues, and the visit ended on a high for the Indian Prime Minister. He was honored with Russia's highest civilian award, the Order of St. Andrew the Apostle. He was awarded for his contributions to the India-Russia relationship.
Did you see how Putin couldn't fix it? It's so funny. Just saying. I had to say that. It was so obvious.
In fact, the award was announced in 2019, but the ceremony could not happen then because Prime Minister Modi had to postpone his visit. So he was formally given the honor today. Russia has conferred the same award on Xi Jinping as well. The Chinese president received it in 2017. 2 years later, Moscow honored Prime Minister Modi. And by doing this, Putin is sending an important message that his relationship with India is as important as his ties with China. And the West has been watching these developments closely, not without sharp reactions. Tonight, we'll tell you all about it. The day began with formal engagements, the India-Russia delegation level.
Okay, I'll just stop there. Well, Putin is clearly orienting themselves on India and Russia, India and China, because he has no other partners really in reality. So that is just my take on it. And I think I saw an interview with him where he had mentioned that the way Russia has developed, that it was St. Petersburg because it was closer to Europe, and according to him, the shift is going to Asia, which I think is rightly so. I don't dispute that what I think is a fact. But he's just simply doing that, I feel like, to secure the support of China and India, because he knows he is alone on the Western part. But let's continue.
Talks co-chaired by Prime Minister Modi and President Putin. The tone for today's summit was set last evening when Putin hosted Modi for dinner. This was an informal meeting, the dinner meeting, at the Russian president estate outside Moscow. And the chemistry between the two leaders was evident. President Putin welcomed Prime Minister Modi with a hug.
Hello.
A very random question. Is Modi short? Because I think Putin is very short. Just curious.
There were several such moments. The Russian president took the Indian prime minister on a tour of his dacha or estate, and they were seen riding a golf cart together. Putin even introduced Modi to his pet horses. Social media was full of memes comparing this reception to the long table treatment that Western leaders get in Moscow of late. Evidently, the Russian leader attaches great significance to his relationship with India, and this was abundantly clear when both leaders sat down for discussions.
Уважаемый премьер-министр, дорогой друг, еще раз добрый день, очень рад вас видеть.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, परम दोस्त, आपका स्वागत है, हार्दिक स्वागत है। आपको देखने से मुझे बड़ी खुशी है।
Официальные разговоры у нас состоятся завтра.
औपचारिक बातचीत कल होने वाली है।
А сегодня мы можем в такой домашней обстановке спокойно поговорить, наверное, о тех же вопросах, но неофициально. Но вначале хотел бы вас поздравить с переизбранием на должность премьер-министра. У вас свои идеи, вы очень энергичный человек, вы умеете добиваться результатов в интересах Индии и индийского народа.
तरह के घराना वो अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ा खुशी का अवसर होता है और मुझे आपने अपने घर पर निमंत्रित किया और आज की शाम हम साथ में गप्पे मारे, इसलिए आपने तय किया। इस कार्यक्रम की रचना के लिए और मुझे घर पे बुलाने के लिए मैं आपका बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ।
After this exchange, Modi and Putin were left alone with their translators for a freewheeling chat. They discussed important issues like the war in Ukraine. Prime Minister Modi told President Putin a solution will not be found on the battlefield. And this is a very significant statement. It is a direct appeal from India to end the war in Ukraine. It is also in line with what Modi told Putin back in 2022 when they'd met in Uzbekistan on the sidelines of the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. That's when Modi told Putin, and I'm quoting, "This is not the era of war." And yesterday, he urged the Russian leader to explore diplomatic options. The same message was reiterated during the formal summit today as well.
ऐतिहासिक मित्र के नाते मैंने हमेशा कहा है कि हमारी भावी पीढ़ी के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए शांति सर्वाधिक आवश्यक है। लेकिन मैं ये भी जानता हूं कि युद्ध के मैदान में समाधान।
Can you see like Putin is like having his head down, like he's being talked down at? It's so funny. Solutions are indeed not possible on the battleground.
संभव नहीं होते
Like,
बम बंदूक और गोलियों के बीच।
so like you see, like he's like somebody talks about a peace, and Putin is like, like doesn't know where to look.
समाधान और शांति वार्ताएं सफल नहीं होती हैं और हमने वार्ता के माध्यम से ही शांति के रास्ते अपनाने होंगे।
So India is pushing for peace and talks. India is also clear that these talks must include Russia, which explains why New Delhi did not endorse the Swiss declaration last month. I'm referring to the Ukraine Peace Summit. Switzerland had hosted it in June. More than 90 countries participated in the summit. India too sent a representative, but Russia was not invited to this summit in Switzerland. So India refused to sign the joint communique. It said that there can be no meaningful and sustainable resolution without Moscow's presence. This was India's message to the West. At the same time, it is asking Russia to abide by the United Nations Charter, to respect Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Prime Minister Modi addressed this with President Putin, and that's the biggest highlight of this visit. He also raised the issue of the repatriation of Indian citizens, those serving in Russian forces. Reports say there are at least 40 such Indians stuck in Russia. They were tricked by agents into joining the Russian forces. And India has been trying to secure their release. Yesterday, there was a breakthrough. President Putin agreed to discharge all Indian citizens. There were agreements on some other key issues as well, like on trade, where both countries have set an ambitious target. Bilateral trade currently stands at $65 billion. They want to raise it all the way up to $100 billion by 2030. And this trade relationship is heavily skewed in Russia's favor, mainly due to India's oil purchases. We buy a lot of oil from Russia. To fix this imbalance, India has sought greater market access from Russia. On the defense front, India had a specific concern. We talked about this yesterday. The delay in deliveries. Many Russian supplies are running late. They're yet to deliver 2 S-400 missile defense systems. Prime Minister Modi is believed to have raised this, asking for speedy deliveries. India is also investing more in its partnership with Russia. Today, the Prime Minister made an announcement that India will open 2 more consulates in Russia, in Kazan and Ekaterinburg. So overall, it was a productive visit for Prime Minister Modi. India managed to secure its strategic interests with a vital partner. India also asserted its strategic autonomy and asked for an end to the war. But not everyone is thrilled about this visit. Like the United States, which is reacting on expected lines, yesterday it said that it was concerned about Prime Minister Modi's engagements with Russia.
There's another visitor in Moscow today, Prime Minister Modi of India. Obviously, India has a long-standing relationship with Russia. What do you think of the timing of this right before the NATO summit and in light of what's going on?
We would urge India, as we do any country when it engages with Russia. India is a strategic partner with whom we engage in a full and frank dialogue, and that includes on our concerns about the relationship with Russia.
Ukraine's President Zelensky added to this. He called Putin a quote-unquote criminal. He said Prime Minister Modi's engagements undermine the peace efforts for Ukraine. In a statement, Zelensky referred to yesterday's airstrikes on Kiev, where a children's hospital was hit. But both the US and Ukraine spoke too soon. They should have waited for the Indian Prime Minister to speak, because he too raised yesterday's airstrikes with Putin.
मानवता में विश्वास करने वाला हर व्यक्ति जब जानहानि होती है तो बहुत पीड़ित होता है, लेकिन उसमें भी जब मासूम बच्चों की कत्ल होती है, मासूम बच्चों को मरते हुए देखते हैं, तब हृदय.
Can you see how Putin, again, like before, and Modi was talking down at him, he's like, he doesn't know where to look, left, right, and center. So for me, like, this is a big, big crossing of the line in the war. I was really not happy when I learned about that. And I think that, I don't know, I haven't watched the news, but I am aware that people were putting joint statements at this point in time when I'm filming this. I know that Slovakia has actually offered for all those children that are affected to be transported to hospitals in Slovakia because I think they are the ones like with cancer, leukemia, like really heavy cases. This is just for me, that's how you cross the Rubicon, and there is no return. And I don't know what you guys think, but I understand the political context or the historical context behind the launching of the operation, if you like. However, there are certain things that you don't do, and that's one of them. And I don't know at this point who can actually support Russia. I would love to know what you guys think about this, but I am appalled by that.
छलनी हो जाता है और वो दर्द बहुत भयानक होता है, और इस विषय में भी आपसे विस्तार से चर्चा हुई.
Now that's a strong message. Clearly, India is advocating for the protection of civilians in Ukraine, especially the children. Prime Minister Modi is probably the first world leader to take up yesterday's attack directly with the Russian president. He also tackled another tricky issue, India's oil purchases from Russia. Prime Minister Modi countered the Western criticism of these purchases.
दुनिया के अनेक देशों के नागरिकों को पेट्रोल डीजल के कारण बहुत बड़े संकट से गुजरना पड़ा और आज भी गुजरना पड़ रहा है, लेकिन हमारे उस कारोबार के कारण हम भारत के नागरिकों को पेट्रोल डीजल के इस मार से बचा पाए, इन्फ्लेशन से बचा पाए और स्टेबिलिटी भी ला पाए. इसके लिए भी मैं आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं.
In diplomacy, the choice of words is everything. Prime Minister Modi's statements demonstrate how skillfully India balances its ties between Russia and the West. It's a tough balance to maintain, but India must do it to protect its national interest, and so far, New Delhi has done it well.
So I believe this is it for that part of the video, and I would really like to understand from your end what you guys think about that visit. Obviously, also it came in an interesting timing, and Modi called Russians their friends. But the question is, like, do you call a friend someone that goes and kills their own children? I don't know. I am just so shocked and appalled by the whole situation. I can't. Like, for me, it's, yeah. I don't even have words for that. But I'm just very curious what your guys' opinion on this. Obviously, you have very different history with Russia. You view them more favorably than people in Europe. I still can't get my head around the whole children's hospital thing. It's just beyond. For me to talk to someone that, let's say, kills their own children, I don't know. You know, like, you could have understood the other reasons for the operation, but this one is, I don't know, maybe I'm over dramatic here, but I just think there are certain things that you don't go and cross. And I just wonder, how do you guys perceive that visit? How do you perceive it in the light of what has happened? Do you agree? Do you still see Russia favorably? Do you not? Obviously, as she mentioned, it's about perhaps the skill diplomacy and skill words. Sometimes when you're watching those interviews, it's just about, like, what can I learn about how to speak super politely and to the point, and don't reveal too much. So I guess that's diplomacy. But you know, like, when you have these talks and they're publicized, I don't think that you get to properly learn the people's views and opinions, because you just have to be so careful how you speak. So yeah, I would love to know what you guys thought. What you guys thought that this is going to, how this strengthens your relationships, or is it a good sign? Is it favorable, less favorable? I'm all ears here. And I think I'll end this video here. So thank you so much for watching this video with me. If you did enjoy, please give a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to this channel. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, please do take care. I'm sending peace and love. Bye-bye.